Deals pushed through.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, my name's Eduardo Robles. I'm going to be teaching a class. This is mainly going to be focused on lead generation. I was a real estate agent for 10 plus years. Loved real estate. I looked at it like hunting. Every client that I closed, it was hunting, right? Like for me, it was the chase that just kept me going. So to say very briefly is I love lead generation. So today we're going to be talking about 3 pillars of lead generation to make a 6-figure income. So a little bit about me. Me and my wife were a husband and wife team. She was more the back end. She did the social media. She did the hiring of assistants. She put the presentations together. She did all of the technical stuff that I don't know how to do. I was the front end. I created the relationship. I did the lead generation. I sat down. I did the appointments. I showed the houses. I closed the deals. So you can see what I did versus what she did. Our top years as a real estate company or as a team, we closed about on average between 25 to 30 deals between 2018 to 2021. So top agents in our office, we were rookies of the year in our office. So just a little bit of my qualifications. I don't know if anybody's ever been with Keller Williams before, but Keller Williams, we focus a lot on education, 7-time Bold graduate. I know probably Bold means nothing to you guys, but I'm super proud of it.
Bold people are proud of Bold.
Yeah.
It means a lot to Bold people.
And Bold it's like a lead generation like class. It's 8 weeks long, and it's like super high accountability. They track your contacts, they track your deals, they track your how many pendings, how many relationships you're established, just all the way across the board. So
Before we get started, let's go and grab some lunch so we can barrel through. There are some veggie options in there, so get some sandwiches, some chips, and I didn't get to introduce you.
but
He did it himself, don't worry.
Absolutely. No, he's a self-start for sure. No, it's
yeah, go get some lunch and we'll blast off shortly.
that way we don't have to stop in the middle.
Yeah.
Roll through.
Thank you, son. Veggie.
I thought that was gonna be way louder. I was ready for a good one.
What is it?
I don't know what it is.
Thanks for lunch.
You're welcome. It's a bonus, right? Most people only show up if they're straight.
They just showed up for the class. The
They
food
showed
was
up
the
for
photo.
you.
The food was a bonus. I'd like to believe.
Have turkey.
Yeah, there should be some Italian, some turkey, some veggies.
Thank you.
Oh, you get to make them?
Yeah.
Look what I have.
Where did you leave yours? Which
Huh?
office? Which office did you leave yours in?
I think the Henderson office.
Oh, I haven't looked.
No? Okay.
It's probably they're plugged in.
I owe you this one, but I'm gonna borrow it and until I can get the other one because I don't want my laptop.
Somewhere.
Bye. Ed, Eduardo, Eddie, Tony. My middle name's Antonio.
Will this be available
I got one here.
presentation?
Here.
Or is it, you just have to?
Sure. No. Yeah. I mean, I can send it to you. Yeah. I mean, it's more about I have more talking points on there rather than information. So that's the only thing that I would say. Just take notes. Good thing. I'm assuming is this recorded?
Oh yeah, this is recording.
So I would say if you want ever to look back on details, there's not going to be very many details on there. I do a more talking, speaking rather
Be on
than
Realty 100 Summerlin's YouTube though.
I
Be able to watch it.
I
yeah,
want to know. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Alright, now you're plugged in.
All right.
Oh, Oh, Nikki's coming back here? Oh, my God. Nikki and I have been friends for, she worked for me.
She told me, oh,
That's got me like.
we're gonna, everyone knows how old you are. I'm catching up to you here, but.
I'm old.
She mentioned the decade. I didn't
I
know.
know. She worked for me back in
So you guys did, right?
93. Yeah. Way
I
back in the days.
heard the first thing was on the class was on.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah, we rolled.
Yeah, so
I'll get my
without further ado, the man who's already introduced himself. This guy, when I think of lead gen, he's like way up here. Because I did a fraction of the lead generation that he does, and he did, and still does. Just kind of adjusts is what you're doing, but
I worked harder, he worked smarter. To put it really simply.
so yeah, listen, it's got good stuff, and I can already say I'll 100% agree with everything he's coming from, because we came from the same world, so. All right. Take it
Awesome.
away.
Thank you so much, John, for the introduction. So I would say I'm very interactive in the classes that I give. I'm very interactive. So if anybody is not sure what I'm talking about, what point I'm trying to make, please, please, please raise your hand, ask a question. The way I see this today is I want to be an open book to help give my secret sauce, right? Every agent has their secret sauce. Be able to share my secret sauce with everybody in this room, right? Because if you can take one thing away from today and turn it into $1 million idea, or just turn it into one deal, like that's a win, right? So hopefully I can give you several ideas today. So I would say if you don't have a paper and pen, please, please go get a paper and pen. Then what's going to be on the board is going to be more talking points. I'm going to be more talking rather than reading. I'm going to be talking more about experience, what's worked for me, what's worked for the market that we were in, and what's going working for the market that we're going to. So, all right, other than that, any questions before we get started? No? All right, awesome. So 3 pillars of lead generation. Out of curiosity, has anybody ever heard of a 135? No? Anybody's ever done a 135? Nope. All right. So 135 is you want to create a goal. So step number 1 is create a goal. Goal should be very specific, very, very specific. And it can be unit based. I want to close 5-10 deals a year. Or it can be money based. I want to make $200,000, $250,000, $500,000 this year. So you want to be very specific on your goal.
That's the best one.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because most people when they ask questions like, "Oh, what's your goal? What's your goal to close deals this year?" I just want to make more money, right? Or I want to beat my last year's numbers. Like, okay, well, if you're not specific on your goal, then how do you know if you're ever going to hit it? Right? Like,
Goal is to make a certain amount by June.
perfect, a certain amount by June. So always make sure. So 135 is one specific goal. Step number 2 is get 3 pillars, find 3 pillars of lead generation. So right now, I don't want to switch to the next slide because I want to ask everybody in this room, name one type of lead generation.
Sync. Sync.
Think?
Sync.
Oh, sync.
C-I-N-C. Sync. That's a
That's a CRM, yeah.
Oh, I was like, yeah, no. Lead generation. So lead generation, it's cold calling, yes.
Okay. Farming.
Farming, yes. What else?
Open house,
Open houses, check.
door knocking,
Check.
social
Hand out your
media.
business card.
Social media. I call that cold talking. So there was a beachfront city in San Diego, Imperial Beach. So I'd go door knocking, and then I call it cold talking. I would go to the beach and I would pass out flyers for the listing that I had. And it's literally cold talking, but with no door, right? I just walk in front of people. Hey, my name is Eduardo Robles. I'm listing 123 Fake Street here in Imperial Beach. Who do you know that's interested in buying in your neighborhood? Right? So cold talking, yes. What else?
Referrals,
Referrals, okay, yeah. Sphere of influence. There's a lot out there. Social media, networking events, cold calling, door knocking, database, open houses, talking to attorneys, circle prospecting, having a website, SEO optimization, sending mailers, attacking expires and FSBOs, relationship with builders, farming, like you said, being part of a BNI group, doing first-time buyer workshops, community events, client appreciation events, and obviously the more expensive Zillow and Redfin, right? If you chose to buy leads from Zillow and Redfin, which I would never do, that's one way to lead generate.
$4 million lead on Realtor.com.
Realtor.com?
Cash.
Ooh, love it. Doesn't always happen that way. I'm just
Never happen again.
yeah. I'm just against paying money for leads. Why? Because I can go put my effort out there and I can get the leads myself. Like, I've always been a self lead generating machine. I just don't, I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I did work for an investment company down in San Diego for about a year and a half. And that's all they did. That's all they did is pay per leads. So pretty much somebody would go online, say sell cash buying, or I want to sell my house for cash today. A website would pick it up and they would sell it to my company. We would get it and we would buy the house cash at a discount. So definitely does work if you're in the right, in the right area of work. So so step 1 is to be specific with a goal. Step 2 is to find 3 pillars of lead generation. We'll talk about a little bit later what those 3 pillars of lead generation should be for you. And then 1, 3, 5. Step number 3 is 5 strategies for each pillar to help you do it at the ultimate level. So for example, open houses. What are 5 strategies for open houses that you can do that would create more activity, right? So for me, open houses, I had 25 open house signs. Believe it or not, I had 4 open house signs on every corner. If it was like a major corner, I would probably have like 12 open house signs. So the more open house signs, the more visible you are. And of course, you put your logo on there, you put your phone number on there. People see your open house sign, see your logo. They start realizing that you're the professional in the neighborhood. Second strategy, having a lender at the open house with you. Value added, having John at the open house with you to give the numbers, to talk about down payment assistance programs, to talk about interest rates, where they're going, where they're at. Added value to your open house.
And security and moral support.
Yeah, and so you can have John pass out the open house signs too.
Brian does that.
Third strategy, invite the neighbors, right? To do a mega open house, you want to door knock the community to have them invited, let them know that they're invited to the open house. 4, virtual open houses. So this is something so cool that I saw nobody do on social media. During COVID,
I saw one the other day. I couldn't believe it.
yeah. So during COVID, where nobody could see houses, the buyers were not going out there, everybody was scared. I was going to houses every single day. I would do 3 virtual houses every day. 3 virtual open houses. What does that mean? How do you do it? So I'd go to the house, vacant home, of course. I would unlock it. I would turn on all the lights. I would open all the doors. And I'd go to my Facebook and I'd go live, right? And I'd put something catchy like new listing in El Cajon, new listing in Vegas, new listing in Henderson, 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, one of a kind lot. So I'd put something attractive so it would catch their eye, so they'd click on the live video. So I would do a virtual open house, and it would literally be, I want to say like 10-15 minutes. 10-15 minute virtual open house. And I would say, I tell everybody, people are, I'm scared to do a live video. What if I mess up? What if I say the wrong square footage? What if I fumble? What if I don't know what to do, what to say? I'm the type of guy, all right? This might not be the right thing to say, but I'm the type of guy, I fail my way to success. That I fumbled, I don't know what to say, I said the wrong bedroom, said the wrong bathrooms, I corrected myself, but I did it so many times, after 150 times, That 151st video, that live video, how smooth did it go? How amazing did I sound? How much of a professional did I look like, right? So don't be scared to do the live open house. Trust me when I say this, it's worth it 100%.
The lead gen goal.
Lead generation.
Did you announce where you were going to be beforehand to kind of get people?
I did not, just because it was tough to schedule the showings. So it was literally, but people knew like that I was gonna do 2 or 3 virtual open houses that day. People were sending me messages, prior presentations that I did, people were saying, I waited for my husband to get home at 5 p.m. for us to see your stories. Because I would do the virtual open house, then I would do stories of the entire home. So people were actually in sync with what I was doing and watched the videos with them and their significant other. So the coolest part.
The key is staying live and getting comments and interacting.
Exactly. So that's one big piece. Like, hey guys, what's your favorite part about this house? Right? What do you think about this kitchen? What's one thing that you would change about this home? Is this house listed right? So you would have people start commenting, and then you would literally be interacting with like 7, 8, 9 people, and I would be answering their questions as I was doing a live video. And the best part, after you see everybody that's interacting with you, I would finish the live video, I would sit in my car, I would send everybody who commented on the video, thank you so much for watching my video. It truly was a pleasure of mine to be able to show you this house. If you have any questions about real estate, give me a call at this number. So I already now have a list of people that are, unsubconsciously interested, right? People that are interested in buying but don't know that they are yet. So
if you
that
can take anything from this class and you just take one thing, that will get you to 6 figures this year alone. Because who wants to sit at 4 hours worth of an open house when you can do 4 open houses in that time?
in 1 hour.
Well, like I have a listing of Paradise, where you can't do an open house.
There you
I'd
go.
love to see you on your little
I
scooter.
would too. I just now
rolling
got
through
that
these
idea.
houses. I mean, you can brand.
Oh,
you can
yeah.
go.
San Diego, big time.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then the second thing, so you have a list of people that's commented. You have a list of people that hearted, liked, right, laughed. You'd send those people messages. And then you have a list of people that watched the video while you were live. And that's a whole, hey, John and Susan, thank you so much for watching my live video. If you ever have any questions, or if you have a property that you want me to see it for you, send me a message. Right? So I did all of that activity. So in literally 15 minutes, you're talking about, I would say anywhere between like peak COVID, like you're probably talking, I had stories, and I don't have a huge social media following. I had stories that did over 1,000 views on my social media. So imagine like getting in front of 1,000 people multiple times a day, multiple days a week. Yeah, I was on their I was in front of a ton of people, right? And it's not about like what's the next deal. It's about how many impressions you can make on a person being in front of them. Because once you're in front of them, you're going to be that go-to professional subconsciously. Because when they think about making that next move, what are they going to think about? Right? You. Whether they have husband, wife, brother, mother-in-law, father that's in real estate, that's something you can't control. But you're going to be that plan B if they do have that person in place. So, I know, man, I just went on a rant.
YouTube has live too, right? YouTube shows
I've never used YouTube.
fast forward. Imagine if you had done all that on YouTube.
I just did it on Facebook. I didn't even do it on Instagram. I didn't do it on
It would still be working for you, right?
Yeah, 100%. So that's an example, doing a virtual open house. And then the fifth strategy is hosting open houses at different times. So hosting open house at different times, what does that really mean? So I'll tell you one huge success story. So I decided to challenge myself and do 30 open houses in 30 days. So I held an open house like on a Tuesday at 11 to 1, like on a lunch break. Because you got to think about, right? Not everybody works 9 to 5. You got people that work graveyard. You got people that work swing shift. You got people that work morning shift. Like, not everybody has weekends off. I held an open house from like 11 to 1, very short open house. One lady came through. Came in, met with me. We talked. 30 minutes later, set an appointment at the office, did the buyer's presentation. 1 hour later, showed her 3 houses. The next day, we were in escrow. So it doesn't happen like that most of the time, but you have to put yourself in a place to be able to be lucky like that, right? To be prepared for that opportunity, right?
And there's
So-
also timing strategy when we talk about door knocking. You could roll that strategy in, let's say, ideally, if you have enough time to plan your open house to where you're gonna hold it the following weekend, and you door knock the Saturday before, you're door knocking to find out when most of them are home. Finding that time period where most people will open the door, then you schedule your open house in that window, because the open house, you know, aside from popular belief, it's to get more listings, not to actually sell, get more buyers.
Exactly.
But
But if you get a buyer, who's going to say no, right? And then these are other strategies, other examples. So cold calling, using a triple line dialer, making sure you know your scripts and doing role playing. Source of reliable information. So where are you getting your numbers from for the triple line dialer? I always use realtyresource.com. An amazing source for me. You can get all the phone numbers in any realtyresource.com. realtyresource.com. So it's a subscription. It's I think like $1,500 for the year. So it's $1,500, but they give you the ability to get any phone numbers in any areas in pretty much the United States. They give you the phone numbers, they give you the address, and I think they give you.
Are it Cole's Realty Resource?
There you go, Cole Realty.
Resource.
I'm sorry, ColeRealtyResource.com. Whew, thank you for that correction. Everybody would have been like, what?
C-O-L-E.
Yeah, COLE, ColeRealtyResource.com. It gives amazing information. So when I signed up, I would literally go in and I would like be at my computer for probably like 6 hours straight. And you would download all the phone numbers and then you would upload the phone numbers into Mojo. I use
C-O-L-E.
Yeah.
Cole Realty Resource.
ColeRealtyResource.com. So source of reliable information. Understanding communication is 93%. And 93% is nonverbal. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a couple more slides. And then the time of making phone calls. So what time are you making phone calls? Are you calling people in the middle of your day, right? So because most of us agents, I would say we work 9 to 5. So are we calling other people during our 9 to 5 when they're at work? So calling people maybe from 4 to 6. How effective would that be rather than from 9 to 10?
Does
Or
anybody know statistically the best day and time to get people to convert on the phone?
Saturday morning.
Tuesday at 5.
Tuesday? Maybe?
Saturday.
Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
there you go. It would make sense to me, 4 to 6.
Statistically, yeah.
And then examples for social media, creating content daily, understanding who's watching. I know we kind of talked about that. Stories versus posts versus videos, how to grow your following, be authentic on your posts. So any questions about any of these examples here for 5 strategies for each pillar? No? All right, awesome. All right, how to choose your pillars. Does everybody want to choose pillars today? Is everybody down? All right, so this is how I look at it. So number 1, as an agent, I would probably look at my most recent 2 to 4 years of closing business. And I would look at every deal. How did I close the Carroll family? How did I close the Morgan family? How did I close the Jones family? And I would say, well, what did I do to get that business? Was it a referral? Was it a cold call? Was it a door knock? Was it an open house? And then naturally, you will figure out what your strengths are.
Has anybody done that? Like, will anybody sit down and look and not just see where it came from, but dig through?
Yeah, where it came from.
And truly find out where it came
Yeah.
from. That's eye-opening for your business. It really is.
During the 3 years of us doing real estate at a high volume, we did 6 figures in 6 months in cold calling. we did 6 figures in door knocking, and we did 6 figures in open houses every 6 months during that time period. It was a different time where we did those 6 figures. So it was like 6 months, maybe we did cold calling over 100,000 in cold calling. Then we'd kind of sit a few months, and then all of a sudden we'd have a spurt with open houses for 6 months. So for me, look at your history. Look at what business you have been closing, because naturally, if you look at the last 2 years, what you've closed the most, and you say, holy shit, 50% of my business comes from open houses. Well, that would say that's a natural, strong suit for you. And that would be something that you would put at your forefront. Like if I'm closing deals from open houses, it's because I'm doing it at a high level. So that should be one of your pillars, right? Then we create what are the 5 strategies. And then so look at your history, and then also know your strengths. Know your strengths. I'm a very high D. I shoot the gun before it gets out the holster. I don't sugarcoat stuff. What you see is what you get out of me. But that is as well. That's authentic to me. I believe in authenticity. If people don't like me for how I am, for who I am, it's okay. We don't need to be in business together. I'm okay with that. Like I know I'm the best person for you, but if we're not a good suit for each other, I'm fine losing this business, right? So know what your strengths are. Number 3 is confidence in your commitment. So knowing that once you decide to choose a pillar, you got to have confidence in that ability to run 100% with that pillar. There is no changing your mind. And in Bull, they said nobody wants to be the star agent. So, and what they meant by the star agent is that if you don't choose 3 pillars and you say, all right, I'm going to cold call for 30 minutes. I'm doing open house for an hour. I'm going to do FISBOs for an hour. I'm going to do social media for an hour. Then I'm going to, right? You cannot commit enough time to all of those activities to do them at a high level, right? Meaning if you do 30 minutes to each one, you're not going to conquer and be an expert in all of them. You're just going to be running wild across the board. And that's why, for me, what has worked for me is doing 3 pillars. Can it be 4 pillars for you? Sure. Why not? Like, this isn't like, oh, it only is 3 pillars or you're going to fail in real estate. No, adjust. If you have enough time in your calendar, enough time in your schedule, only you know this, to take on one more activity, do it. Choose results-driven activities. That's exactly what we talked about in looking at your history. And then don't copy what others are doing. So what I mean by that is, in real estate, there was this other young couple our age, me and my wife, and then there was this other young couple named, I'm not going to say the names, going to record. Let's say John and Susan. So we always compare ourselves to John and Susan. Same age, we got into the business same time. They were just always ahead of us, one step ahead. And I always told my wife, I was like, we cannot compare ourselves because our situations was different. Me and my wife, we started a family very young. We had our first kid at 19. We had our second kid at 22. We had our third kid at 25. We were 25 when we got into the real estate game, and we were comparing ourselves to another couple that had no kids. They had all the time in the world that could focus on the real estate business when we had to change diapers. We had to focus on, family. We had to focus on birthdays. So I always tell people, don't copy what other people are doing because you can't imitate 100% what they're doing. So you can only control what the time that you have.
Yeah, before you go, take a picture of this. Seriously, this is super valuable because we all coach, right? I'm sure Eduardo would take calls from you if you had questions on
without a doubt
later. Brian's coming from the same cloth I am. We've coached teams and agents and stuff. And we'll coach you, all right? We don't charge, all we want is...
He doesn't charge.
Right? What you say you're going to do. Otherwise, because I got burned out in the KW days, he knows how many times I want to be coached, I'm going to do this, and then you never hear from me again. So you have all these coaching meetings and nobody does what they say they're going to do. All right? It's custom. Don't copy what else other people are doing. I literally had a coaching conversation Monday afternoon with an agent in Utah that I've been working with for years. We do this every year, and like clockwork, he does nothing about it. And I just wasn't gonna do it. And he called me, I'm like, dude, I go, we're gonna have a serious discussion. I said, because this will be the last time you tell me you want coaching. Either you're gonna go do something else and not do anything, or you're gonna freaking succeed. And he's a 20 deal producer. Last year he did 6. That's the new 20 this year, right? Everybody struggled. They went from 20 to 12 or whatnot. And I wanna read you a text, because I broke it down real simple for him. I said, I want you to 100 people, 20 all-stars, and you're gonna do over 20 deals. And all he had to do, because who time blocks, right? Have you guys been to time blocking classes?
Oh,
How many hours do they want you time blocked for?
The whole day.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but most of you guys don't do 8 hours worth of work a week. Like efficient, effective work. Okay? So I'm like, I want 4 hours from you a week. Commit, do it. And we realized, like, you got 260 in your Buffini database, not all of them belong there. Let's whittle that down. I want you to mine for 2 hours a day. What do you mean? I want you to take every single person in your database. I want you to creep them, investigate them. I want you to put their kids' birthdays or anniversaries, everything you can. Otherwise, it's a worthless contact. Get to 100. I'm like, okay, then what? During that process, you're going to schedule the call to make the next day, and you're going to stack your days. You're going to call these people, and you know exactly what to say, because you just creeped them for a while. I said, so I get 4 hours a day. You can do whatever else you want the rest of the time. But here's the text I texted him during the meeting yesterday, just to check in on him. This is great. I said, you mining this morning? He said he's gonna mine from 9 to 11. It's 10:30. I said, you mining? Did you mine this morning? He goes, I'm just getting started. Like, internet was out at the house, I had to go find internet.
my ass.
Not surprised, right? You got a phone,
Yeah.
data, everything, you do it. I said, get after it. I said, no excuses. Excuses are for you to feel better about not getting your shit done. Attack it. No more blank days. You can be a blank all you want after your 4 hours are complete.
That's it.
You guys want to produce? I'll help you produce. We know we've been there. We've done all these strategies. We know what it takes to be successful in those. You have to want to do it too. So just know, we're here for you. We'll help you. We'll help coach you, but not if you're just going to lame duck it. Good.
100%. All right, talking about commitment, right? Talking about the next line, commitment. How much time are you willing to commit to your activities? Right? That's the big question. Are you task-oriented versus time-oriented? Meaning, how do you want your goals? Do you want to do 2 open houses a week? 2 open houses a month? Or what was easier for me when I started growing my team is let's not talk about 2 open houses a week, because people get into the mind like I can only do open houses on weekends, right? Like people that have a job. So I say commit to how many hours of an open house you can do, right? Because if you're going to take a 4-day trip to Mexico, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're committed to 10 hours of open houses, figure it out. Do the 10 hours. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't tell me you can't. Right? So being task-oriented versus time-oriented. I changed everything into time-oriented when I started time blocking. So when I started time blocking, I literally would cold call for X amount of hours. I would do open houses for X amount of hours. I would door knock for X amount of hours. Rather than just saying, I'm going to door knock today, be more specific. How many hours are you going to door knock? Where are you going to door knock? What material are you going to use to door knock? Right? Be very specific. And then commitment is different for everyone. So like I was talking about earlier, everybody has a life. Everybody has kids. Everybody has grandkids. Some people have disabled kids, right? Which makes life way more challenging. Everybody's situation is completely different. I had a problem. Me and my wife had a problem always comparing us to that other couple in our office. But our situations were different. We were living 2 completely different lives. So remember, the commitment is different for everyone. How much time you can commit this week is different from how much time she can commit from this week. So understand that. Don't compare yourself to other people on the amount of time that they're in the office, the amount of time that they're lead genning, right? What's that quote that people get praised in public for all the work that they do in private?
Right. Like they're always overnight successes.
Exactly.
By the time we hear about them, it's 10 years after the grind, right? We want you guys to be successful like sooner than 10 years.
Yes.
We're not
So,
like piano people.
talking about communication, I actually would say I'd call myself a communication expert. I would really say that about myself. Who knows in this room knows that what percentage of communication is nonverbal?
9% of it. 93%.
93% of communication is nonverbal. Dang, right? That's incredible. So only 7% are the words that I'm choosing? 7% of communication is only the words. That's incredible. So in case you don't know, body language is 55%. Tone of voice is 38%. And 7% is your choice of words. I love to read. And I've read several books on communication, on nonverbal communication. So one thing that I would say when you're communicating with a client, understand how you're communicating with them. You have to know and understand that, because there's so many times where if I send this text, this is going to sound bad, or this is going to sound wrong, or they're asking a question that needs a lot of details. So I give them a call, or I set an appointment in the office, because when you're communicating over the phone, tone of voice and choice of words is all you're communicating. They don't see your body gestures, right? So take it a step further. I've read a book. They said, okay, so obviously read body language. Do they have their arms crossed? Are they leaning back? Are they sitting up front on their chair? Do they look interested? Are their arms open? Are their legs crossed? Are you mirroring and matching them?
I try so hard. Every time I cross my arms, I have to stop.
Yep.
You're open. Close, open. And it's like, I learned that, and it sticks in the back of my head, because I used to cross my arms all the time.
Yep. So I would challenge everybody in this room, so not only to look at communication, look at what the other person is saying non-verbally, but take it a step further and read your own body language before you read theirs. What does that mean? Is being able to read somebody while knowing and understanding what your body is saying. How you're speaking, the tone of voice, and the way you're standing, the way you're sitting. Am I presenting myself? Am I showing that I'm interested in this conversation? Is my body showing that I'm interested in helping her get into a house this year? Or do I look bored? Do I look uninterested? Because reading yourself will allow you to correct yourself, right? Number one. Then you'll see them correct themselves and their body language. And then you have a better conversation overall. So not only to read somebody, I would say that's advanced, is reading somebody's body language, understanding what they're saying non-verbally. But when you become an expert, is saying, what am I saying to them? What are they replying to what my action is? And being able in live time to be able to fix that problem, to be able to have better communication across the board. That is so important. I read that in a book. Haven't heard that very much online, and you hear all kinds of shit online. But in the book, that's what I learned, is to understand, to correct what are you saying, what's coming off of you, because what's coming off of you is what they're giving. Because if you're just reading on them, but not understanding that they're responding to you, you're going to try to correct something that you're not understanding. Does that make sense? I know it sounds so fucking confusing.
No, and super important, something that you also want to put in the back of your head is validation. You can hear people and not validate what they're saying. Because, like, if someone comes in, Jim's missing football games and he's irritated, he's drug around to open houses and he's cranky as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Don't validate and keep them in the mood, or someone who's like, oh, these rates suck, I'm never going to buy. don't validate it because that person's gone forever. Validation is one of the worst things you can do when you're communicating, unless it's for a really good thing.
So off of that, does anybody have any questions? No? All right. Let's keep chugging. All right. Don't be a secret agent in your passion. So what does that mean? Like, don't be a secret agent. We've heard it all the time, and I think I kind of do it more than ever. Just wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, whether you're hiking, whether you're biking, whether you're canoeing, everybody around you needs to know what you do, right? And then obviously the communication. You don't just say, hey, my name's Eduardo, I'm a real estate agent, right? You try to figure out how to create a comfortable conversation that allows you to let them know what your profession is. So don't be a secret agent. Everybody, wherever you're at, everybody should know that you're the go-to realtor. Don't be a secret. If you're involved in groups and they don't know you're an agent, that's your own fault. Because Bob got the listing instead of you. Really? Yes.
So I guess it would be a good idea to have a shirt that says realtor on.
I actually hate that. I'm not big with that. I mean, that's a,
Okay, well,
I would say that's a strategy. Me personally,
Whatever
like,
it takes to get a conversation started.
yeah, how
if
about
that's what
having it
takes
on
for
your,
you.
Why do you hate
car?
that?
He's a D.
I'm a D, but
I'm the same way. I don't even brand anything with my information on it. It's like if they don't know where it came from, F them, right? It's a high D. That's just kind of the way we are.
yeah. I mean,
Eyes, yeah, they're gonna not only. I mean, look, he's in bright pink. He doesn't care if he's noticed at all. He wants to be noticed. But high eyes will have realtor in bold, capitalized, italic, whatever, just to let them know. It's just different personalities.
I would say it definitely is a strategy, but just nothing. That's not something that I would do. Like personally.
Newer agents do the branding, like the card magnets and
Yeah, I mean,
like cups and name tags.
yeah.
Wearing a name tag, it will work. It just
Yeah, exactly.
No problem getting it out, and you want the
It's just
conversation to
these
come to
two
you.
right here. So just
Yeah,
ignore them.
I would say do that. That does work. That's just not a strategy I've ever used. So I see realtors with ask me questions about the market, or agents that are at the coffee shop and with their laptop open and they have a little card that says, talk to me about rates. I don't know. I don't think people are gonna like, hey, so tell me more about rates. Like I don't believe that. Like it does happen. Yes, 100%. That's just not a strategy that I would choose.
Well, the reason why I mention that is because I have a friend that just got her doctorate, and so at church Sunday she had her T-shirt on, Doctor So-and-so, right?
Oh, that's
When
so
I
cool.
looked at
That's a
that-
little bit.
Wait a minute, when I looked at that, I said, I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little different. I think with that shirt came lots and lots of sacrifice, lots and lots of years of education. So that's more of like a proud. I think that to me it sounds like something I'd be proud of. I would see it that way. I think that's cool. That's a huge accomplishment. Like,
Proud to be a realtor. I mean,
yeah, exactly,
hard work,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
So okay, just wanted to get
Yeah.
that idea. Since
So,
I'm a new agent, I just
Yes, don't be a secret agent. All right. How to make the biggest impact with the least amount of money. I've always been big with not spending a lot of money. I've been big in investing. So I'll share a couple of things I didn't put on here. So free pillars, right? Open houses. What is it going to cost you? It doesn't cost you nothing to schedule open house. Yeah, upfront costs, paper costs to make copies of the open houses. But it doesn't cost you to host an open house. Same thing with door knocking, same thing with social media. You can do live videos, you can post content. Farming, relationship with builders, as free pillars, moderate price pillars. Cold calling, you have to have a triple line dialer. You have to pay for a Cold Realty resource. That's a monthly subscription, triple line dialer. Doing seminars. We've done seminars. I've done first time buyer seminars. They're a little expensive. You got to pay for the food. You got to make sure you have the content. You have other presenters there. So having seminars, Doing SEO, usually you're investing, paying somebody to do SEO unless you're a savvy person that can do it yourself, which is not me, and that's the majority of not realtors. SEO will cost you some money and having a website as well. And then expensive pillars is pay per lead, obviously if you're buying leads and Zillow and Redfin leads. So one thing that I did, I would suggest everybody in this room to do as well. So my passion, I love baseball. My son plays travel baseball. I love my Padres. I'm from San Diego. I live in San Diego. I love baseball. So I became a season ticket holder, right? So I became a season ticket holder. I go to not all the games. I go to a lot of games. We have a blast. But we get affordable tickets from the Padres Stadium where my tickets cost me, let's say $10,000. $10,000 a year. I know that if I sell 50% of my tickets, which I'm allowed to, I can sell 50% of my tickets and make $10,000 back, right? I make my $10,000 back. Now I have the other 50% of the Padre tickets that literally are 100% free. So I would literally give away tickets to everybody on my Facebook. Literally, I would give away tickets. I did a giveaway for the Padres playoff tickets, 2 seats that they're like $400 a ticket, and somebody won 2 tickets to the Padres game. But I would literally give Padre tickets away, and what would I say? Hey, do me a favor. What's your name?
Debbie.
Debbie, do me a favor. Here's the 2 tickets. Don't pay for them. I don't expect any money in return, but please, can you do me one big favor? It would mean the world to me, Debbie. With your favorite picture at the Padre Stadium, take a picture with you and your significant other, or you and your son, whoever you're going with, and then just tag my real estate team on social media. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. Enjoy the game, which they are sick-ass tickets. These aren't nosebleed tickets. Understand that. These aren't nosebleed, section 300X. Most people that hear of a giveaway, hear of free stuff, oh man, it's cheap, it's broke seats, like, you have to climb 15 sets. No, we're row 1 in left field.
Wow.
Fernando Tatis Jr. is right there. I can smell his ass cheeks from where I'm at. Like, that's where my tickets were. Everybody had a great experience. People were like loving the seats. People would like take pictures to see how close the players were. So when we invested $10,000 and they're tagging you and all your friends can see that, the Deborah Realty Group sent me to a Padre or sent you to an athletic game. That's what's coming to Vegas, or a Raiders game. That was free advertisement for me. Several years of figuring out what everything worked and how everything could pay each other off. I would literally get paid to send people to Padre games. It didn't cost me anything. But what kind of experience did you give to everybody that you gave the tickets to? Right? That's something that's not even on here, but that's something that I do. So
You gotta have a plan though. If you don't have a plan, just like I told Green Valley yesterday, if you're gonna spend any money and you don't have a plan built around it, you might as well throw it in the trash.
Yep. So
Can you expand on the relationship with builders?
relationship what?
Builders.
Oh, I would say you can even do big time builders or small builders or / investors, people who buy lots of land and build on it and be able to resell that property.
Probably not like your Lennar and stuff, but there are smaller builders out there that.
Yeah, you find the property for them, they usually will use you as the listing agent.
Yeah, someone that builds maybe 15 to 20 homes a year, and just working with them, eventually, hopefully coming in as their primary agent to list them for them.
Tough right now because of land. We have the land.
Yeah, there's people in San Diego that focus on that look for opportunities, that find like one SFR with like an empty lot of land, are figured out, they're really close with the city, they have an investor buy both, they build 5 houses on it, and boom. You bring it to the builder, they're gonna make money, and naturally, hopefully, right, they hire you as the agent because you found it for them.
And also connecting builders with investors, because investors looking for fourplexes and stuff, it's a hard business finding a decent fourplex. But if you say, I know there's nothing on the market in your range, but what if we have a builder that specializes in fourplex? You connect a builder to an investor, you start building that relationship, and how much did that cost you? Nothing. You just gotta think outside the box.
Absolutely. All right, lead generating versus lead receiving. Oh, I had this conversation with my buyer's agent on my team like 3 days ago. She said, it's like, why do you do lead generation? I was like, why do I do lead generation? I was like, the biggest factor is I was one of the only agents that was in my office that averaged a 7% listing. I mean, a 7% commission listing. And it's like, how do you get 7%? Like, when everybody else can barely get 4. And I was like, well, like I find the client doesn't find me. When I go for the interview, I'm the only one that's interviewing for the job. Right? You wait for a seller to call you. The seller's savvy. Seller wants 15 agents to come in and give them 15 different commissions and how I can save here, how I can save from title, how I can save from escrow and commission, buyer's agent. Me, I was getting in front of nothing but sellers that only interviewed me for the job because I found them through lead generating. So my average commission was 7%, which would 4.5% for the listing side, 2.5% for the buyer side. So you have a different standard. I had a different standard. We invested into our listings as well. But the listings that we did have, like, majority of them were 7% listings. It's different now because I think across the board in San Diego, you can't.
Maybe remove the word standard.
Real trouble.
That whole sentence needs to go.
There you go.
Go to jail for 100 years for that one.
No setting commissions.
Boom, gone, just like that quick. So, but when you negotiate your commission,
Now with the buyers, the BBRA,
it's tough right now. It's changing, but
but it's according to how you feel about it.
yeah.
I think. So,
Yep, body language
what you
again.
could do,
It
what
is
you could
all
do.
in presentation.
Whether you're insecure or secure enough to say, this is what I do, period, because of what I do.
Yep. So the next one, I would say be in the market every day. It's super, super important that everybody in this room understands that being in the market is being able to see homes every single day. There's this top agent in our market right now, Greg Phillipson. #1 agent in California, #3 in the United States, #5 in the United States. We were in the same office for a short period of time and we went golfing. And boy, do I suck at golfing. And I was like, what's your secret, Greg? Like, why are you so busy? And he's the one guy. He does 300 units, 400 units by himself. He might have showing agents, but he's the guy. Doesn't have a team of listing agents, doesn't have a team of buyer's agents. He's the one guy. And I was like, what's your secret? He's like, oh, well, because he's like the king of East County is what they call him. So specific area. He's like, I would go by every single house that would hit the market. I would go by every single house that sold on the market. I would go by every single house that went pending. I would call every single agent and talk to them why did this house sell. He had more information than any other agent on the market. He would go to a listing appointment. He would say, oh yeah, your house is the same layout as the Smith family that sold for $752, the Jones family that sold for $854, but with the pool, the Cortez family also had it. Like, he was that good. He was that good. He would see every single house before he went to a listing appointment. He would drive the neighborhood. Did the neighborhood bring the value up or did the neighborhood drive the value down? Access to the home, was it easy to get to the house or was it harder to get to the house? He really drove, like, he was so good. Like, when I went golfing with him, oh my God, just way better, more committed, I would use that word, more committed than any other agent in the market.
Remember when I said nobody really works that many hours a week? These are effective activities. These log as efficient hours. And you have 2 real jobs in this business. #1, knowing the contract better than anybody else. It's all about language and manipulation of that contract for your client. And #2, knowing your inventory.
Yes.
I got a guy in Utah. He doesn't show more than 2 or 3 houses to anybody. He knows what's on and off the market, what's coming to the market. He knows it all. So his business, someone calls him, he puts them in the house real quick, knows exactly what house they're gonna buy. That's an amazing business.
Yep. So it's just what I say, know your shit. So view houses daily, review the MLS for all new properties, right? For me, I had a couple buyers that my house needs to have XYZ. As soon as that house popped up, I showed them the house, it got into escrow the same day, right? See the properties on the MLS for what new properties. Review what has gone pending. What houses are off the market? Why did houses go off the market, right? Review price reductions and price increases. Right now in the San Diego market, we're seeing a lot of price reductions, right? Why are prices getting reduced right now? And it sets you up for a positive conversation for your future listings. When somebody wants to list their house higher than what it's worth.
I'm gonna brag for a second. Back when I was in the weeds, doing it, going to listing appointments on myself, I had a 100% conversion ratio. And these weren't family, these were like appointments set and going. The key factors in this was number one, knowing the motivation. That's it, number one, knowing the motivation. But I would print out MLS sheets, okay, of homes that were active, homes that expired, and homes that were pending on all the homes that I would use to price out his house. And I always got my price because every time they wanted listed it here, I pulled out another sheet. I'm like, look, this home sold for this price, but look, it was listed here at this price. They dropped it here, and they sold it 10 days after this.
I do it with pictures.
Yeah, or being able to, you mark notes all over these. So you have everything set up, you're gonna lead them through by the notes, and when they see you have all this down, they like, okay, this dude knows what he's talking about. You'll always get your price, and you'll always get the listing if you show up prepared to answer every single, pushback, so.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Great info right there. 100%. That's very difficult. Find and exploit your niche. Like, what do you like to do outside of real estate? Right? I love the Padres. I love my son playing travel baseball. Again, that goes back to whatever your niche is, whatever your passion is.
Two very expensive hobbies.
Yeah. Make sure everybody knows what you do, whether you go swimming, whether you go hiking, whether you're in a car club, whether you're exercising at the gym. Everybody at the gym better know who you are and what you do. So one kind of thing that I'm doing is hopefully I want to buy my 2023 Nissan GTR sometime in the next 12 months. But that GTR, it's a car I absolutely love. But at the same token, I think about it more than that. I think about, well, this car is going to allow me to get into these car meets, and this is about $150,000, $180,000 car. That means I'm going to be rubbing shoulders with all these other people that have $150,000, $180,000 cars, right? And again, effective communication. You want to say, hey man, my name's Eduardo, I do real estate. No. Awesome car. Tell me a little bit about it. Awesome. What do you do for work? Awesome. Cool. I do real estate. So it's about being able to kind of explore and tell people what you do for a living while being passionate for what that specific exercise is, or car club, or hiking. It can be going to bingo. You can literally do it with anything. So again, what I would say is just put the two activities together. Do your passion and let people know what you do. Any questions? All right, awesome. Be involved with the community. What I love, I have 4 kids, so me and my wife were part of the PTA, parent teacher, I think it's administration or authorization, one of the association. So we were part of the PTA. We have a child in high school. We have 3 kids in elementary school. Eventually we'll have 1 in middle school. So be a part of the community beyond the PTA, but also volunteer, being able to volunteer at police departments, being able to volunteer at fire departments, volunteer for your city. Like, there's so much that you can do. And again, like, if that's your passion though, if you love to volunteer, if you love to be a part of the community, just like the last slide, don't be a secret agent. Let people know what you do. Be a problem solver. I can't tell you what this has gotten. This has gotten me so much business. So be a problem solver to me. The way I set the expectation with every client in my database is, look, Debbie, thank you so much for buying a house with me. I truly appreciate it. If you ever have any issues with your roof, your fridge, your washer, your dryer, your water heater, your floors, your even backyard or your front yard or even your car, let me know. I know a ton of people in all sorts of the business. Give me a call. I want to make sure I can link you up with the right person that can give you the best price possible for whatever you need to be fixed. Be the go-to person to help fix any problem that they have. Because when they think of fixing a problem, who do they think of? You are the go-to person. Right? Does that make tons of sense? So if their washer broke and they need the phone number to their home warranty company, boom, get the home warranty company, the phone number for them. Right? And I already have I know I have the home warranty, all the phone numbers for all the home warranty people. So I can literally call the home warranty person, have them call the client and take care of that problem. But more than that, like everybody in this room, if you've been a real estate agent for a while, who's been in the real estate agent for more than 5 years? 10 years? Tell me you don't know a mechanic. Tell me you don't know somebody who can install floors. Tell me you don't know a landscaper. Right? You're solving this problem for everybody in your database, for connecting people. And you're now the go-to person for everything. It's going to take. So when they talk about buying an investment home, a family member comes and talks about first-time home buyer program, who's going to get that call? And who deserves that call? Right? He's just doing everything in his power to position himself to be the most successful agent in her library. So be a huge problem solver. I can't tell you, like, people call me for stuff that had nothing to do with real estate. One, I will say, sometimes I would bite more than I can chew. I would promise something I did not deliver on. So be careful. Don't promise something you cannot deliver. Number one, made that mistake, learned from it. I just said, no, I don't know that person now. But number two, if you do have those relationships, share them. It goes a long way. Script and role play. Why is script and role play so important? I absolutely love script and role play. For me, script and role play allowed me to practice any conversation, any difficult conversation every single day. Right? Why should I pay you 6%? The last agent's only charging me 5%. Boom, have a script for that. Right? Why should I list you over my brother? Have a script for that. It's like, oh, what if something goes sideways during the listing? How's that communication be for Thanksgiving dinner with you and your brother? Do you ever want to put him in a position where he can mess up, and if he doesn't, you're gonna have a weird relationship with him? Well, let's do this. Why don't I take the listing? I'll give your brother 1% as a referral fee, so he gets paid, and you allow me to take care of the deal. It's a win-win. Boom. Script and role play. It allows you to have difficult conversations every single day and be prepared for them. So I love script and role playing. Who should you use it for? Listings, buyers, appraisers. There's scripts for everyone. And like I tell every class that I teach is like, just like you have scripts, always remember, they have scripts. The seller and the buyer has scripts. That person that comes to the open house says, I'm just looking. That's a script. So be able. Yeah, I have a realtor. You have to position yourself to overcome all of those scripts. I don't want to sign in. Oh, I'm sorry. The seller only allows anybody that sees the house, they have to sign in. Right? Whatever the situation is, have a script for everything. Be prepared. Be prepared to know what to say. Why is it important to internalize the scripts? So, I'm sorry? Emotion. When you internalize a script, you become authentic. You're able to speak it with the way you are true to yourself. So when you're able to deliver a script authentically with emotions, that's how you're going to get the best closing rate.
Brittany does a really good job. I had an open house with her this weekend. She hit every point, but it wasn't like reading off a script. You know, she made sure she hit every question she needed to ask to get the information she needed. But it was internal.
Yep.
It was her, so it didn't seem fake.
It's off the cuff.
I also do the sign-in sheet myself, and like I run to the door and say like, I'm gonna sign you in. What's your name?
Don't
Okay,
give 'em a
what's
chance.
your phone number? I don't say please or can I have.
See, I've
What's your
done
email?
that, but there's too many. I'm John Doe's. My phone number is 619-222-6776.
Yeah, that's true.
And that never, so I always focus, so I was big with open houses. I was the type of agent where I would just let you in, go do your thing. I'm not going to bug you. I'm not going to follow you like a car salesman. I'm not going to be a fly on a wall. No, go do your thing. Why? Is because I believe that I don't want to do business with people that don't want to do business with me, period. Will I have effective conversations? Absolutely. I'm not going to be dumb, let them in, let them out. I'm just like, hey, so what'd you think about the house? Perfect. Was one thing about this house that you could change? What would it be? Why are you looking for a house, right? Peeling the onion, digging. What's important about finding a house? When do you got to be in there by? Why do you got to be in there by then? Really? My son's getting surgery. Oh, what kind of surgery is he getting? Care, understand, peel the onion, find the motivation, be an effective communicator. But understand that, like, I've tried that and it just didn't work. I've gotten a lot of people, wasted a lot of time, and I would just have great authentic. It's like, hey, I'd love to stay in contact with you. I'd love to keep you updated on the market. Are you okay if I gave you a call once every couple weeks or maybe once a month? Yes. Awesome. What's your phone number? Right? Like, as long as you set that expectation and know, right, they understand, they believe you, that you're not going to call them 100 times a day or email them 1,000,000 times a day. Like, be truthful for what you say, and they will give you the information.
You're the first person in a year almost that I've been here that has ever said that. Every open house that I've ever done, they're like, you don't take their information, you don't ask them for it at the door.
I agree with
That's
you.
a
We want
waste
to
of
get
time.
it.
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
It's
That's
a-
non-effective open
No,
house.
that-
No, it's
No.
not.
No, it's
For me, it's not.
definitely case by case, right?
And if they don't want to give it to you, you don't want to do business with them.
Yeah.
That's
If
when
you're in a
really-
luxury
or if they
listing
lie, you
or
know,
something
so.
like that, you mandate it, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on your client. If your client, I mean, sometimes you need to show your client your work. You see feedback, you need contact information, stuff like that. And it works, it's different strokes for different folks, right?
Yep.
Either you get it up front or you try and get it afterwards. It just depends on how good you are at what you do.
Exactly. I've done enough open houses to know what works for me and what doesn't work. So,
The idea
but yeah.
is to get the information somehow in everybody that comes through. Whether you want to win it
Easier
or
to
demand
get
it.
it coming out, I think.
Yeah.
If you're doing what he's doing, if you're getting more economic, finding the reasons for why they're here, how we good looking and so
Right,
forth,
let
then
them look.
more willing.
All kinds of ways.
The trickier part is when you have 3 parties at an open house and you're
they
just
come at the
like,
same time.
and you're trying to remember what they say, right? You ask good questions and they give you good answers. You're like, holy shit, whose answer was that? Was that like, that's when you have multiple people sign up and you're like, oh my God, I really need to like remember these conversations. That's the real problem, where it's like multiple interested parties, multiple great conversation, multiple information that's given to you that's like more than your normal conversation. And it's like, they do want to do business. They do want to hire you. Like, okay, I need to make sure I don't drop the ball. Next, accountability partner. I can't say how important this is. I love accountability partners. Accountability partners allows you to share daily, weekly, and monthly goals. So in bold, what our accountability partner, what we would do is be like, Deborah, what's the thing that you least like the most?
In terms of what?
What are you scared of, or what don't you like doing?
I'm sure my son has a lot with me. Sure.
What do you hate doing?
Well, I hate exercising.
You hate exercise. Okay,
I've started,
Deborah,
and I have a trainer now.
if you don't hit
I hate
a
it. when she makes me do all that.
There you go. Deborah, if you don't hit 100 contacts this week, you're going to do 2 hours of exercise 5 days a week next week.
Oh, wow.
Right? You find the motivation that forces them. I'm more pushing away from the exercise than I am from pushing to doing the lead generation. So for us, it was like, I hate, let's say, I hate Coldwell Banker. Okay, well, you have to go deliver 24 donuts to their office meeting if you don't do your 100 contacts. Oh, I did my 100 contacts on Monday. So that's what accountability partners should do, should push you to be the best version of yourself. Preferably somebody within the office, somebody that you see daily, maybe another agent, can be a family member. Maybe not a family member. My wife hates me as an accountability partner. Just because we're probably right next to each other all day. I was like, did you exercise today? And that'd be the end of it. And somebody that will hold you to the fire, right? Somebody that's going to hold you to the fire. Not just say, yes, I'm going to be an accountability partner, but then ends up fading away and not conversating. No, somebody's going to hold the branding iron on the skin until you accomplish it. So super important to have an accountability partner. Education. I can't tell you how important this is. I tell people, it doesn't matter what you pay for, how much money you pay. If you go to Tony Robbins' 7-day event in the Bahamas, or if you go to Grant Cardone's 10X event, or John, what's his name? John, the leader.
Morgan.
No, John Maxwell. I love John Maxwell.
Didn't know you knew that.
Education is so important, but it's on the next slide. I put 2 slides in one. Implementation is the key. I'm wasting my time here if nobody in this office puts themselves into action or this information. This information is free today. Well, what if you go see Grant Cardone and pay $10,000 and you don't implement what he says, right? Or Tony Robbins. Implementation is the key to success. Without implementation, nothing happens. Money is wasted. Time is spent. Time that you will never get back. So understand you have to implement the ideas. You have to implement the information that is given to you. There it is. Fail now, fail often, fail your way to success. That's like the way I live by, honestly. I love to fail because eventually I'm always making progress. I might fail, but I'm making progress.
Here's a tip for you for implementation. Great idea. Usually when you go to an convention, you get a wristband, right? Some sort of wristband that lets you in. I had a guy in Arizona, every mega camp, he would leave his wristband on for weeks to remind him that he needed to implement, and until he implemented, he did not take that wristband off. So that's an idea.
Thank you. Great idea. I think that's it, because I have questions as the last slide. Any questions whatsoever? I know I was kind of all over the place.
I enjoyed.
I need to be more organized. But hopefully I gave some great information. Next quarter or March, whichever one it happens, I'm going to be teaching my buyer's presentation. And trust me, it is a killer buyer presentation. I should be selling it for like $10,000 a pop. But for you guys, free.
You should do it next week.
I'm from San Diego. I don't think I got 4 kids, and that's one right there.
Anyone who wants to implement the virtual open house strategy, it would be even cooler if a lender went with you. So we can talk about terms, we can answer questions on that. We could even have 2 phones going at the same time to where you're hitting their audience and your audience and vice versa. So think about that.
You're going to be a busy man.
Me or even Brian would be great for that type of opportunity. So during the week would be best, right? Because they're at work, we can get in for about 15 minutes, as long as there's not a bunch of dogs barking during the live or whatever. So think about that. I mean, that's my favorite thing of this whole class.
Awesome. I love it. So I'll be doing a buyer's presentation if the office allows me, number one, haven't asked. But next quarter, trust me when I say this, it's a killer buyer's presentation. We've worked on it for 8 years, 10 years. And it's something that everybody should know. I've signed literally every person I've ever met, sat down with, they hired me as their buyer's agent. So I'll be teaching the class next quarter. Come, don't come, it's okay. Somebody will get something out of
Can
it.
you send it by email tomorrow, today?
The buyer's presentation? No, you're gonna have to wait.
Okay.
It's gonna be next quarter.
If you don't ask.
Yeah, no, that I love that. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
How do you feel about teams where you ever name one?
Teams. So I don't like working for other people. But I believe in fairness. And what does that mean is I don't ever want to take advantage of anybody, and I don't want anybody to ever take advantage of me. I started a team, and I gave them more commission than your standard team. But it's because I know I have the right person on the team. I share amazing values with her. I share amazing how we run our business, family people, ethics. I don't think she'll ever screw me over. And I gave her more than what's the fair for the CEO of our team. So yeah,
Was
I mean,
it valuable to you? Did you learn from that?
did I learn from what?
From being on a team? Or you've never been on a team?
I've always had a team in place where I've had assistants and I've had buyer's agents. But right now, I have a team in San Diego that I'm not involved in at all. So that's the first time. So right now, I have listings in San Diego. I have buyers in San Diego that I'm not attending at all. And that is the most amazing feeling in the world because I am a control person. If I can't do it and I know I do it the best way possible, I prefer somebody else not to do it. But releasing that control, I had to do it because I don't know if anybody knows, but me and my wife, we opened a credit repair team. So we're running the credit repair side of the business, and we hired somebody to run our real estate side.
I've been in your class, that's a good class too.
Thank you so much. So for us, it's about 100% releasing control. And she's making way more money than what she should for my listings and for my buyers, but I don't care. I can trust her. This is more of a long term. I'm looking at it from here to San Diego. This isn't like a Band-Aid. I want her on my team forever. So I'd rather give you more than what the norm is than less or the average, because I'm looking at the long game. I tell John, I was like, I don't ever want to do real estate again. But I'm teaching these classes because I've attended so many conventions, so many seminars, so many top agent seminars. I have all this knowledge that I don't want it to go to waste. So I'd rather share it, right? I get nothing out of this. I'm not getting paid. I just want to share the info with you guys. If you guys can walk away with something awesome, that's a win. So, but yeah, we have our team in place in San Diego, and I don't micromanage her. I don't check in on her. You inspect what you expect, but if we lose a client or we lose a listing, it's okay. I'm not going to get involved. I've committed to not getting involved. She can drop the ball 100 times. I'm not getting involved. There's a point to where, do we have the right person on the team? That's a different question, but.
Our whole growth strategy when we were running our team was we didn't pick a place we wanted to go. We found talent that made us want to go there, right? It's all about people. It's finding the right person that you want to be in business with. So, because turnover is expensive, right? You've heard fire fast, hire slow. It couldn't be more true, right? So if you're thinking about building a team, number one, don't.
Thinking about building one. I was thinking about joining one.
I think the biggest issue I've seen before is most coaches will tell you have to hire this person first when everybody's business is different. And a lot of agents I've seen getting in the business want to hire a transaction manager before they even know how to do the transaction.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing ever.
Right.
You need to know what you're hiring for and know what they're getting into and how to teach them. Otherwise, you're never gonna get the right person, because they're never gonna know, you're not gonna know how to teach them, or what you want them to do.
Yeah, I would say join a team as long as they're committed to mentoring you and being able to shorten the learning curve. Because if you don't join a team, you're going to have a long learning curve.
And don't
But-
think about the split, right? If someone's doing a 50% split, if they're gonna help you do at least 2 times the business, it's worth it, right? Because one of my business partners had just joined lending, got into real estate at the same time. He went down to work for a buddy, and he was getting 25% on all the deals. But he went through his first year, 60 transactions. I did 6. He had a way bigger knowledge and made more money off of what he did than I did. So like, he won.
Yeah.
But if he looked at, oh, I'm getting paid so little off every transaction, that would have gotten in the way of his learning experience.
Yep.
So,
So I would say join a team that's willing to commit to you. So that's the key. Me and my wife, when we joined Keller Williams, we had a coach and he didn't do shit, and he took 50% of our deals and he didn't do anything.
Yep.
Like, that was worthless. So
happens a
just,
lot.
yeah, just again, hold him to the fire, right? Hold that commitment on his side too. Like, you're gonna get X amount of my commission. Like, I need your attention. I need your help. I need the guidance. So, any other questions?
You were wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. I will be in Summerlin. Oh no, this is Summerlin. I will be in Henderson tomorrow if you want to rewatch it.
You come to me with this.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, as a new agent, just got my business license yesterday, just got my license December 10th. What's the best advice you can give me? I'm a former manager, 36 years at the Postal Service, 66 years old, just doing something to keep myself busy.